as we're underway in Pocono.
Watch back your lane. There's a car length between the 12 and what's below him. Clear, all clear. 3 back side by side. 2 back side by side. 3.5 to the 18. He's clear by 4.
Eric Almirola out with the lead from Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, and Denny Hamlin.
When you see where that outside lane maybe has a bit of an advantage right now, some of these drivers down in that lower lane getting a little bit out of shape, just like we saw Ryan Blaney from that front row go down into turn 1, slide up in front of Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch got a run on him. Now here goes William Byron to the inside of his teammate Chase Elliott.
Truex had him 3 wide on the inside for a bit.
Chasing that traction compound that they've laid around this upper groove, able to take advantage of that and the momentum off the top groove and get back by William Byron and bring along Tyler Reddick with him.
Through the tunnel turn. And down the short chute, headed for 3. Single file back to Chris Buescher and William Byron.
Yeah, Williams actually lost a few positions by diving to the inside of his teammate Chase Elliott. Lost momentum off the first corner and several cars went by him on the outside. He's going to complete this pass on Chris Buescher.
So Eric Almirola had only led 2 laps here in 15 prior Pocono appearances.
And I love the shot when we saw Kyle Busch go to the inside of Ryan Blaney to take second on that opening lap, and he fired it off into the tunnel turn. A lot of confidence in that race car that it was going to stick.
Yeah, just seen Blaney's car took a while to find some grip.
It did. I think he got loose down on the bottom. Underneath Eric Almirola, and then wasn't so sure what it was going to do in the tunnel turn. Went down that long pond straightaway, got passed by Kyle Busch, and his teammate Joey Logano almost made an aggressive move, and those two almost made contact turning in to the tunnel turn on that opening lap. But all is good now, and actually you start to see Blaney come back on Kyle Busch.
Eric Almirola completing lap 10. He has led them all. And now the new second place car, Joey Logano, ahead of Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, and Denny Hamlin. So Ryan Blaney started on the front row, currently 3rd. Here he discusses handling.
On the splitter, getting into 1, decided initially, then I gather myself up a little bit, but I'm right there, really rough with the nose over the tunnel. Not bad, 3-4.
See, here's that tunnel turn that Ryan Blaney talks about. Watch, you see the left sides are on the apron as he comes through the tunnel, really bounces and then gets a little bit out of shape. And here comes Joey Logano with a head of steam and the momentum. He moves over, lets his teammate go right on by. But, you know, I think that's why we saw that car really not have the pace when they dropped the green. I think he was on that splitter, those low air pressures. That front splitter is down on the racetrack, and when that happens, you lose all your front grip.
Into turn 1, the most steeply banked corner on the course, then down the long pond straightaway to what we call the tunnel turn, because the infield access tunnel is underneath that corner of the racetrack. Overpass turn, it just wouldn't have the right ring to it, would it?
In this corner, the tunnel turn, you're in and out of it so quickly. You carry so much speed and commit so much to the throttle through there, really leaning on those right sides. But then you have a huge bump in the center of it, probably where some settling happened over where that tunnel is. and it makes it one of the most fun corners in all of NASCAR, and also one of the toughest when you miss it.
You know, Mike and Jeff, one reason I think we'll see a lot of drivers stay out on this competition caution, Eric Almirola's fast lap was 53.25 just 4 laps ago. So it's like there's not a lot of give up on the stopwatch with this tire combination, especially with the cooler temps.
All right, caution is out. Here's the competition caution. 2 Penske cars in the top 3. Brad Keselowski back in 6th, wondering where his teammates are running.
Covered. Inside 2. Quarter. Kurt's outside of him. Keep Kurt. You're clear right now. 1's the mo. Half off. He's almost clear. 1's clear. By 1. No mo. Got dirtied up 3.
Just 4 laps to go in stage 1. Short race, 130 laps here total. The top 9 did not pit during the competition caution. Make that 13 cars in all that did not come to pit road. William
Byron, big block by Bubba Wallace, trying to block that run. William Byron all the way down to the apron to get to the inside of Bubba. Here's Jimmy Johnson, you putting those left sides on the apron through the tunnel turn to try to get a run on Bubba Wallace.
So Jeff, Larry, this stage ends in 3.5 laps after just 25 laps of competition. Do you pit at the end of the stage?
You know, honestly, you think about it, we've had 8 caution laps, and with the pace I'm seeing, now Jeff did bring up something when we were chatting during commercial break, is tire wear, and we're actually seeing some of them hit pit road here, which means they will stay out at the end of the stage, including Denny Hamlin in the 11.
Now with that caution, and these drivers being close enough to the leader, they can come in, get 4 tires, not go a lap down to our leaders, and come out with 4 fresh tires and fuel, and not have to stop here in a couple laps at the end of this stage.
Another unique facet of this racetrack.
Wow,
whoa, Jimmy Johnson.
Here. 3 wide, Bubba Wallace on the outside, and Mark Truex Jr. stuck in the inside as Jimmy Johnson has that lower lane.
So the pits will close with 2 laps to go in the stage.
Mark Truex Jr., I was wondering who he was going to go with. He's going to go with Bubba Wallace to push him by Jimmy Johnson, use that draft.
Denny.
Oh, and brings Kevin Harvick along with him. I'm sorry, the 6 of Newman.
Now Denny Hamlin pitted out of 10th place, first of the drivers to pit then. Harvick was 19th. I would be leery of not pitting at all and just staying out on the racetrack. Given that you have to run the same car tomorrow that you're using today, I don't see a lot of opportunities for caution flags here in the early going.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's going to change the mindset here in this first stage is I've seen the track go from being very gray and not having any rubber laid down to very black. If you look down in turn 1, that lower line has laid a lot of rubber down. That means rubber's coming off of those tires and wearing heavily in the early stages. So Chase Elliott coming after Kyle Busch.
That's for 4th place. Joey Logano leading by 0.6 of a second on this final lap of stage 1. One weekend, 2 short races, 130 laps, the total distance today. Ricky Stenhouse slow there. Now he's one of the drivers that pitted just a couple of laps ago.
Well, clearly an issue for the 47, trying to limp back either to pit road or until this caution comes out for the stage.
This is the 9th straight race that Joey Logano has led this season. A career best for him. There's the green and white checkered flag for Logano over Almirola, Blaney, and Kyle Busch. Chase Elliott rounds out the top 5.
I know I got better push on about him, but
we're back under green. Ricky Stenhouse got the free pass. Tyler Reddick was too fast entering and restarted out back. Not quite so wild this time into turn 1.
Well, I'm not so sure it was a no-brainer for Joey Logano because Eric Almirola takes the lead. He had that great pusher in Ryan Blaney, and I'm also not sure I want Chase Elliott as my pusher with the recent history between Joey Logano and Chase Elliott.
And you say Homestead? Byron and Bowman, the Hendrick teammates, side by side for 7th.
Austin Dillon taking a peek to the outside of William Byron and has those right sides in that traction compound. I think that traction compound is going to play out, especially down that flat turn 3, Mike.
I hope those weren't raindrops on the lens.
We got the vortex going now, Mike.
That's right. The cars are out there swirling the air around. Rising column of hot air.
Works even better on a triangle.
I'm sorry, I was talking about the Charlotte studio in the rising column of hot air.
Works really good in here. Oh man, did you see how close Jimmy Johnson, Ty Dillon got? I believe that was that coming off of turn 1? No, yeah, that was off of turn 1. Oh, Austin Dillon did not get through the tunnel turn good, and look who's going to take advantage of it, Mark Truex Jr.
I'm glad I'm not a spotter and don't have to tell the 17 and the 19 apart today.
Oh, okay.
No, that would not be easy. Completely different sponsors, different manufacturers even, but the cars look much the same, and the numerals aren't all that different either.
John Hunter Nemechek making a nice move to the outside of Denny Hamlin to go by in turn 1. Denny Hamlin going to make that move. Oh, 3 wide into the tunnel. It's a 95 of Christopher Bell to the inside of Kyle Busch as they go by Ryan Newman.
That rarely works.
I didn't think it was going to work that time,
No.
Mike. See Eric Jones moving up high. I think there's some real grip up there in that traction compound. He ran all 4 tires up there, had some grip, got a run, and is going to go to the inside. I think he will clear Christopher Bell as they get down to turn 1.
Jones with that preferred inside line.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. Christopher Bell fighting back hard on the outside. That draft is just so strong when you can get in line and get a toe off that car in front of you, and that's what Christopher Bell is able to do down that long front straightaway. There's Kyle Busch by John Hunter Nemechek.
So the first 7 drivers, back to Alex Bowman, have not pitted in this race. Larry, how far can they go?
Yeah, they'll probably run to about lap 40, Mike. It's almost like right now they're splitting this race in thirds, but you'll have to pit a little sooner the first time because of the pace laps. So I would say right now what Paul Wolf may be thinking about, the crew chief for Joey Logano, as well as the 10 car of Eric Almirola, what they may be thinking is pit about lap 40 and then run to about lap 85. And that's splitting it in thirds, essentially.
38 laps complete. Eric Almirola the leader, but Ryan Blaney has hit pit road for the first time today. Last week's winner at Talladega. We're going to start calling him 007 because that was his margin of victory, 7 thousandths of a second. at Talladega and when he won there last year too. So here comes 007.
What are the chances of that, Mike? It's unbelievable.
Minuscule.
I like it. 007.
Ryan Blaney. Now he is still on the lead lap. Here are the leaders: Almirola, Logano, Elliott, Matt DiBenedetto up to 4th, Kyle Busch 5th. Speaking of Kyle, let's have a look at today's tied clean pass. His number 18 trying to make the move on Ryan Newman's number 6.
Well, this didn't start out by looking very clean, Mike. They're 3 wide. Christopher Bell, the rookie, on the inside. Ryan Newman is going to have to check up here a little bit, because I can promise you neither of these 2 guys in front of him, beside him, Kyle Busch and Christopher Bell, checked up. But they were able to make a clean pass.
So that puts Busch into 12th, right behind Chris Buescher.
Now, Mike, you mentioned Ryan Blaney stayed on the lead lap. As long as you're within about 10 or 12 seconds behind the leader, you can make a normal 4-tire pit stop here and stay on the lead lap. Evidently, Todd Gordon felt like the window was open for them to maybe make this race on one more stop. And here you see some other drivers like Kurt Busch in the 1. Here at lap 40, they're making their green flag stop.
So that'll leave us less than a half dozen cars on track that have not stopped at all today. Positions 1 through 4, and then Alex Bowman in 6th. So with all these different playbooks going on here, Larry, how about today's race strategy?
Well, I'm about ready to take this card and just rip it in half, because we've got more strategies that we can shake a stick at. But here's one scenario. Denny Hamlin didn't worry about stage points and stage 1s. He pitted before that stage to beat everybody else to pit road, but maybe pit with about 3 to go before the end of stage 2 and get 4 tires. And then when your fuel window opens about 40 to 44 laps to go in the race, maybe come and just get 2 tires and take it to the end.
So, Larry, it sounds like you're figuring this race backwards from finish to start, maybe like you would on a road course?
Exactly, Mike. And again, I think one thing that allows them to do it is we just are not seeing that much give up. Eric Almirola, he has not pitted yet in the team car, and he's only running about a half a second slower than what his fastest lap was.
Thanks, Larry. And here's Kyle Busch moving past William Byron, Matt.
And William Byron, he pitted back on lap 14. He says he's got a significant vibration on his Chevrolet. Chad Canals told him, pit if you need to. It is entirely up to you. He's dropped back to the 8th position at this junction.
And, you know, not a big surprise to have some vibrations here at this track because of the braking, the amount of heat that gets built up in those rotors, and then how much they cool down on the straightaway. It's really hard to get the brake temps to act right and not have a vibration. Usually that vibration comes from the pulsation of the brake pads and those rotors, those brake rotors sort of moving and warping a bit.
How about Eric Jones? He's moved up 10 spots since the restart, from 22nd to 12th in that number 20. Making the pass on Matt Kenseth. Kevin Harvick behind now. The 4 leaders stay out. Almirola, Logano, Elliott, and DiBenedetto, plus 6th place Bowman, have not been to pit road at all today, 43 laps in.
You know, Mike, if I was trying to do this race in 2 stops, the minute the window opens, I would come, because just staying out there, that means that the caution comes, you're going to have to come and you're going to give up a lot of track position.
Yeah, and I would think their window, right, has opened up a bit. Because we've had some caution laps. We've had, you know, the competition caution. We had the other caution. So running under caution can save you a lot of fuel. As we see, here comes the 29 team, or the pit crew, getting ready for Joey Logano to come to pit road.
Logano's led 11 of the 43 laps so far, and he's in. Matt?
Like 5 laps ago, Joey Logano told Paul, if it's a little bit tight down in turn 1, it gets a little tighter down in 2, a 2.5 on a scale of 5. but it was great down in turn 3. He didn't really want to make a huge adjustment because he feels like they're in the ballpark, especially through the cycles they had that clean air.
Alex Bowman in as well, completing his service.
Matt DiBenedetto also on pit road. Remember, we heard communication between Eric Almirola and his crew chief talking about just run it until that you start to see that fuel pressure drop. And now here comes out Eric Almirola on pit road.
So after 45 laps, Almirola, having led 33 of them, comes to pit lane, and Chase Elliott comes with him. Matt?
And you could see the 10 car hit his mark. Now, Almirola was saying he went up into the sticky stuff, the traction compound, for a little bit, just to help the car turn, to search around a little bit because it was just too tight across the middle down in the tunnel turn. Just off his shoulder, you can see the 9 of Chase Elliott. They're dropping the jack as well. His car has started to get tight.
So those are the last cars to pit for the first time today. That's after 45 laps of competition, counting 3 caution flags. But remember, we had about 9 pace laps trying to get the track dry before the green flag flew. So Martin Truex, who pitted back at lap 14, picks up the lead as we cycle through track position. The other drivers that pitted at 14 are Byron, Dillon, and Buescher. Chris Buescher, Austin Dillon, Eric Jones, right there 4th, 5th, and 6th. Denny Hamlin, who pitted at lap 22, has cycled up to 2nd place behind Martin Truex by 1.2 seconds. Laps to go in stage 2. Lap 77 will mark the end of the second of 3 stages of this race. Austin Dillon to pit road. Chris Buescher was just in, so we expect William Byron and Martin Truex shortly, the other drivers who made their first stop at lap 14.
Yeah, Mike, William Byron in the 24 car, I think he's going to have to come this lap for sure. He can only run about 1 more lap, and Truex now should be able to run about 2 more laps in that 19.
So we'll see when we cycle through, because before pit stops, Truex was 10 seconds back of Almirola. When Almirola pitted, Eric now up to 19th as Denny Hamlin takes over the front spot.
Well, that's Denny Hamlin, runs really good at this racetrack, but also got a bit fresher tires on his race car compared to Truex as the 24 William Byron hits pit road. It's about 8 laps fresher tires on the 11 of Denny Hamlin versus our 2nd place runner Martin Truex Jr.
Yeah, I think Truex has got to come this lap in that 19 car.
Right sides on Byron, and coming around for fresh Goodyears on the left.
Yeah, 2 tanks of Sunoco fuel. You see that little puff of smoke there? I really believe that is water. That, we talked about there being seepage on the track and weepers, and I think that he's running through a place where it is weeping and running across the track, but not upsetting the cars. Martin Truex Jr. now on pit road.
Matt?
Time by Mike. James Small told him flip the switch. The car had fluttered. Truex says that the car is on the splitter down in turn 1. He's got a little bit of a splitter flutter, so they need to make an air pressure change. He was sliding the nose, especially over in the tunnel.
So we'll keep an eye on Almirola, who cycles around to 14th place as Truex pulls away. Matt Kenseth also coming off pit road.
There's Almirola about halfway down the Long Pond straightaway. Had a 10-second lead on Martin Truex Jr. prior to that round of stops. See where he comes out. He's going to be, I believe, a good bit further back, as Almirola's been out there on some fresher tires.
We'll check him next time at the line. 15 to go in stage 2. Denny Hamlin leading Kyle Busch by 2.5. Eric Jones now by 11 seconds. Kevin Harvick by 12.
And of course, a lot of cars still left to pit as Jimmy Johnson hits pit road. Slight lockup, getting aggressive to the pit road, but still a lot of cars ahead of Almirola have to pit before he can get that lead back and has to hope for no cautions.
So Almirola in 13th. Whoa, Josh Bilicki pulling out.
And Jimmy overshoots a stall. He's going to have to back up.
Tense moment there for the 7-time champ.
And you got to be careful how far back Jimmy Johnson was from our leader to possibly go a lap down. You see Bilicki just comes out of his pit stall. Jimmy Johnson turning into, I mean, what are the chances of Bilicki being there and launching right at the time where Jimmy Johnson has to come into his stall? It definitely cost Jimmy several seconds.
Larry, is that on the spotter or on the crew chief, or is it a combination?
Well, I guess, Mike, I always under green flag stops, I tried to kind of communicate with my neighbors. When are you coming? I need to come this lap, especially when you're talking about a lead lap car versus a driver that's a lap down. Try to work together down there on pit road where you don't have that happening.
And as a driver, I'm watching that car. Are they dropping the jack when the left side tires are going on? Because when they drop that jack, I know that car is going to launch out of there.
Right. Now, to cap the story of Almirola and Truex, Almirola was 10 seconds ahead, or rather, Truex was 10 seconds back of Almirola when Eric pitted. That distance is now 15 seconds. So Almirola picked up 5 seconds.
Oh, we got a shattered tire here coming apart. And that is the 27.
J.J. Yaley. And caution is out.
Now this is really not ideal for those guys that were getting ready to pit. Oh, wow. You can see that. Or John Hunter Nemechek comes up, makes contact with the left front tire, cuts it down for J.J. Yaley.
30 lead lap cars with the wave arounds. Here we go. Kyle Busch peeks out 3 wide.
Boy, did something happen to Chase Elliott? He's fading back there. Gave Eric Almirola, our leader, a big push. But since then, falling back.
Mr. Excitement, Ricky Stenhouse, number 47 on your program.
Never disappoints, but this is tight down in the tunnel turn. How in the world did they make it through there, Mike?
Oh. By the way, this was Mr. Excitement Jimmy Spencer's home track. He's from Berwick, PA. Now, varying strategies. Ryan Blaney's not been to pit road since lap 38, so he's on the oldest tires, but holding station in third.
And Mike, I anticipate all those drivers, Blaney, Almirola, Logano, they'll stay out at the end of the stage. It's going to end here in about 7 laps. And once their fuel window opens to the end of the race with about 40 to 44 to go, that's when they'll make their final pit stop. So Almirola last stopped at 45, Logano at 44. They've cycled back. That looked like a little contact. Matt Kenseth, William Byron there.
Now, William Byron was side by side either with Stenhouse or Boyer, and the 95 of Christopher Bell took advantage of that. Went 3 wide, and that actually shuffled back William Byron. Here's Jimmy Johnson to the inside of the 38. John Hunter Nemechek. Oh, issue. Big crash. Eric Jones.
Jones hard into the wall, and that's Tyler Reddick right with him. And we are back to caution for the 5th time today. Lap 72. Heavy damage on the right side of Reddick's car.
Heavy damage to the nose of the 20 car. Certainly don't see that car being used again in this doubleheader weekend tomorrow.
No, and if they have to go to a backup car, that means they would start last in tomorrow's race in this unique doubleheader weekend format. Let's ride with Tyler Reddick.
It looks like Eric Jones ahead of him. Is Eric Jones going to get loose? Oh no, he just checks up trying to go around a slower car, and Tyler Reddick had a huge head of steam coming. And as Jones moved down to go around that slower car, Tyler Reddick and he make contact, sends both of them around into the inside wall.
Yeah, they were battling for 13th. There was a slow car to the outside of Jones. Oh, and he just misses the Fitch inertia barrels there at the head end of pit road and catches the pit wall.
No, but thank goodness there is that safer barrier on that inside wall to help that impact.
Well, these two came into the race separated by just one championship point, 16th and 17th. Three and four wide again.
And again, the 9 car doesn't look like he missed a shift there, but he definitely didn't get completely up to speed, and Denny Hamlin's going to go by him. Mark Truex Jr., nice job pushing Eric Almirola to the lead. There's Ryan Newman and 34 McDowell, the huge chef. Here's a change for the lead possibly. Logano going after Almirola, but not able to complete the pass.
2 Fords and a Toyota up front, and 2 Fords behind them. Blaney and DiBenedetto, who's been hanging around the top 5 here for a good part of the day.
With just a couple laps left in this stage, some great battles out on the track.
Austin Dillon up the inside of Cole Custer there. That's for 19th. And Bubba Wallace.
He's going to bump draft with Bubba Wallace, try to maintain as much speed or maybe even push Bubba Wallace by Ryan Preece into turn 1.
Ryan Newman right now positioned, no, not to get the last playoff point. Elliott is.
Bubba tried to drive deep into the corner, but the back of that car just did not stick. You can see how easily you get a push and then drive too deep in the corner. Here's 3 wide. Denny Hamlin going to the inside of Alex Bowman and Matt DiBenedetto. Not going to complete that pass.
This is for 5th place.
Well, it was a great move, but just was not able to clear Alex Bowman. Here comes Kyle Busch, 3 wide with a big run. And Kevin Harvick to the outside. This is pretty crazy.
Last lap, stage 2. Green and white checkers in the air for Eric Almirola, Joey Logano, Martin Truex, Ryan Blaney, and Matt DiBenedetto. The top 5. And the final stage point goes to Chase Elliott. It'll be 48 to go when we get the green flag. Here they come. The Chevy Silverado makes a hard left onto pit road, and we head for the restart zone.
And they fan out, Mike, 4 or 5 wide. I think they can go about 8 wide here. There's Boyer poking out. Gonna make it 3 wide. Maybe
Kyle
even 4.
Busch.
Oh, I think Boyer made some contact with the 95 of Christopher Bell. Great battle here for 2nd. Joey Logano, Matt DiBenedetto.
How about DiBenedetto? He's been in the hunt all day. Remember, that's the team that Ryan Blaney got his first win with here.
And then the power move by Kevin Harvick, taking advantage of these 2 guys behind him running side by side. Goes 3 wide and completes the pass. Well, that move did not work out for Logano. Now he's going to lose another spot to Truex and possibly to Hamlin.
So Harvick to 2nd, DiBenedetto to 3rd. That's the highest they have run today.
Well, that was pretty impressive right there. Denny Hamlin able to jump back in the throttle in the middle of 3 and drive by Logano on the inside. A little bit fresher tires, remember, on Hamlin versus Logano.
There's Chase Elliott back at 24th. He had an uncontrolled tire penalty on that pit stop, so had to restart it back.
And he's having to hold it in 4th gear at the same time. And they had some damage to the right side they were repairing. See the 12 of Blaney getting shuffled back.
Christopher Bell. And Cole Custer in that mix of cars at 23rd.
So a little bobble by Jimmy Johnson on that outside. 24. William Byron getting passed by the 2 of Brad Keselowski.
Boy, Keselowski's had his struggles today.
Yeah, we just, when you see the Penske teammates been pretty strong today, but not Brad Keselowski.
And racing back around 20th position.
Here comes his teammate, Ryan Blaney, making a move to the inside.
You know, Jeff, the one thing that Todd Gordon may have been thinking there on Ryan Blaney, taking those 4 fresh tires right there, when their window opens, they still may make that green flag stop. Absolutely just a little bit of fuel only.
Yeah, it gives them a few different options, doesn't it, that could work out big time for that 12 team later on.
Michael McDowell in the top dozen here in that 34. Remember, he has a lot of road racing experience before he came to NASCAR, so I'd expect him to have a pretty good day here, since this is, after all, a road course with 3 very different corners. They just all happen to turn to the left.
Well, he's missing out on some shifting then. He probably really liked Pocono when you could do that. Let's see Boyer jumping out, going by Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace, we've been listening on his radio, not happy with the handling of that car today. They have been making some huge adjustments.
Bubba 14th. Ooh, working on Boyer.
You see the 17 Chris Buescher jump loose in the middle of the corner. I love those shots where we show those roof flaps. Ooh, there's a 3 wide move by Byron. Popping out, going to the inside of Kurt Busch. Can he complete the pass? And he does. Here comes Blaney. 2 left side tires on the apron through the tunnel. But I was going to say, I love those shots from looking at those roofs and showing those roof flaps fly on those straightaways. These teams have done so much work to figure out how to get those roof flaps down for downforce on these flat corners, but fly up on the straightaways to reduce drag.
Well, you saw Blaney make that move, putting 2 tires below the line. That's what got him in trouble on the first lap of this race. The car got all sideways, but things evolve, including the handling on these cars as the race goes on. Almirola, Harvick, DiBenedetto, 3 Fords out front. Matt?
Mike, the Wood brothers chasing career win number 100. Matty D, solid effort right there in the 3rd position. Says the platform of the car feels so good, he doesn't want to mess it up with any adjustments when they stop next. And think about what this team has done. Due to the pandemic and not having practices, they have really sped up what could have been a very slow learning curve. Effort really equals results here today.
Chris Buescher is in. The leader has surrendered the lead. And we will cycle back to Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, and Mike, as we see Buescher on pit road here, when you come to pit road under green and you're hard on the brakes, you heat up those brakes, and then they sit on pit road and they cool, and a lot of times it'll work that rotor just enough to where you pick up a vibration when you get back out on track. If it doesn't get worse, then we know it's something like that, and not a tire that's out of that has lost its balance.
You know, just to kind of make sure you're on top of what has transpired here, Kevin Harvick, Rodney Childerson, the 4 car, on that last trip to pit road, because they had pitted on lap 66, when they came back to pit road at lap 94 under green, they did right sides only. As well as Denny Hamlin and Chris Gabehart in the 11 car, they did 4 tires on 66, so on 97, they did 2 rights. Where Eric Almirola, because he had not pitted since lap 45 and had run so many laps, they had to go with 4 tires. I do want to add on Ryan Blaney in the 12, as much as I thought that may have paid off, it just was not the right strategy coming to pit road, even though they had to do fuel only under green. Again, Ryan Blaney in the 12 car.
Thanks, Larry. That explains why Almirola is 12 seconds back of the leader. Harvick and Hamlin just 2 seconds apart. We still have 29 cars on the lead lap with 16 to go. Rodney Childers, crew chief. Is Kevin Harvick headed for a long-awaited win at Pocono, or will it be heartbreak number 5? The number 4 times Harvick has finished second at this track.
Well, what I'm pretty fascinated with here, right? You see, we talked and documented about Kevin Harvick taking 2 tires versus Almirola. They came in together. Almirola was the leader. Even though Kevin Harvick, those 2 tires gets him off the end of pit road faster and puts a gap of maybe 4 or 5 seconds. As we see an issue with Alex Bowman, the 88. Looks like maybe a tire, right side tire is coming apart.
Bowman in 18th place. Right rear.
Yeah, looks like maybe some damage to the right side. Maybe he's made contact with the wall. That may have cut down that right rear tire. Yeah, you can see the damage to the right side.
I said 18th. He was 12th when he brushed the wall and had that problem.
Yeah, and throwing debris out there. There's that right side skirt. But going back to Harvick and Almirola, they came off pit road. Harvick with 2 tires, Almirola with 4. And even though there was maybe a 4-second gap, 5-second gap, I thought Almirola would eventually start closing in, but it's quite the opposite. Harvick with those 2 right side tires has actually put 13 seconds between him and Eric Almirola.
Almirola maybe a 1/10 of a second faster, a couple of tenths last time, but not a big difference. So Hamlin still 2 seconds back of Kevin Harvick. Almirola 3rd, Truex 4th, Christopher Bell in 5th. Nice run for the rookie, 16 seconds back, but in good position to score a top 5 here.
And going to make a move on his teammate. Well, I keep saying teammate. Yeah. They have an alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing, at Bob Levine Family Racing. So great run by Christopher Bell, going by Martin Truex Jr., picking up that 4th position. Here comes Kyle Busch with those left side tires. I don't know if that was going to pay off for Kyle Busch, but it is right now. He's got a fast race car here late in this run.
Toyota's 4 of the top 6 spots, and behind them Clint Boyer up for 7th place after restarting 12th back at lap 77.
And what's not present, got to go all the way back to Matt Kenseth in 10th in the first Chevrolet. I really expected today to be a day for those Chevy Camaros to shine, but they just have not been there. Of course, Chase Elliott was pretty good and had some issues. Nobody's surprised Matt Kenseth in the top 10.
No. Eight to go.
Well, and this is what I was a little bit concerned for Denny Hamlin is once they clear traffic. Ooh, Denny's going to get held up on traffic there. But Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin were running about the same line, running up high as you see here on board Denny Hamlin, putting those right side tires in that traction compound. That's the same line that Kevin Harvick's running. As Hamlin catches him, he's going to start getting that disturbed air affecting the downforce of the 11 car and might not be able to get the run that he needs to actually make this pass. But I think lap traffic is Denny Hamlin's best friend. Woo!
Wow. Right up on the back of Timmy Hill.
Boy, he planned that perfectly.
Front tire down on Joey Logano. Running 8th. And remember, you got to keep this car in shape because you have to use it tomorrow.
Well, that one's not in great shape with the left front. They might be able to fix that. And I just wonder, did they do right sides and did he lock up a left front tire, maybe come to pit road? Sometimes that flat spots, it causes some damage.
Jeff,
Ryan?
They actually did 4 tires at lap 91. They are on the same strategy as the 10 car.
Okay, Larry, thank you.
Brian Preece has taken over 20th. Who's 21st now? Jimmy Johnson. We'll see how it plays out over these last 6 laps. And the gap between them is about 4 seconds.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on these lap times. That last time by Ryan Preece a little bit faster than Jimmy Johnson, so we'll keep track of that, see if Jimmy can close that gap.
All right, Denny Hamlin has it the lead down under a second, Matt.
And it's pretty much leveled off right there, Mike. He's been bouncing back and forth. It says the vibration has gotten significantly worse. You can hear it in his voice. He's just trying to hold on to the finish.
He might be saying and worried about that vibration, but he is not backing down. He is running very fast lap times and dicing it through these lap cars, trying to catch and run down our leader, Kevin Harvick.
All right, man, my problem is if we take 4, we'll end up about 18th or 20th, and I'd have to take 4. I can't be confident which side it is.
So they feel pretty confident it is a loose tire, not a brake issue.
5 laps to go. Well, that means you can either maybe finish second today, or you could start up front tomorrow.
But Larry, I would have thought that they would have known because they just came down pit road, unless he had a vibration prior to them coming down and getting those right side tires.
Yeah, because they changed 4, but that was all the way back on lap 66, Jeff. So yeah, it's been a while that those left side tires have been on there.
Hamlin trying to keep it together for 4 more laps. Harvick trying to score his first Pocono victory, and his margin now increasing slightly, 1.2.
Well, it increases, then it decreases. All depends on how Kevin Harvick, our leader, gets through traffic and how Denny Hamlin times his passes on some lap cars. And this is probably not going to help Denny a whole lot, as he was side by side with Corey LaJoie coming off of turn 1.
Yeah, he's just not catching the cars at an optimal place, which would be on the straightaway, not the entrance to the corner.
You can see here Harvick being held up a little bit behind Bubba Wallace, so that's going to help Denny Hamlin close this gap. Kevin Harvick's got to make quick work of this, and he does.
Bubba's not been happy with the handling of his car today. He has been the first, or he's now the first car 1 lap down, but had been on the lead lap up to this point.
And look at Denny Hamlin's going to get a nice toe off the 43 machine of Bubba Wallace. Should make this pass into turn 1. See if he can dive to the inside and make it quick and clean, and he does. Boy, that helped him a lot close that gap to Kevin Harvick.
Sure, Jeff, everybody fights the leader because everybody wants to stay on the lead lap in case a caution comes out. It makes the second place car's job a lot easier getting through the traffic once they've already gone a lap down.
Yeah, once you've gone a lap down, then you pretty much move over for the next guy that comes through, unless you see a lap car behind you that might take you out of that free pass position. You can see Denny Hamlin trying some different lines. He knows that he can't run in the tire tracks of Kevin Harvick. Now he's getting a run down this long straightaway, going to use that draft off the 4 car.
Harvick went all the way to the pit wall to try to shake the draft of Hamlin, something Neil Bonnet did here decades ago and caught the ire from ABC commentator Jackie Stewart. Says that's very dangerous driving. No, it wasn't. It was strategy.
Boy, look at Hamlin. He's able to run it differently. His car's definitely handling better than Kevin Harvick right now because he can get down lower and use that clean air and gain on Kevin Harvick. But where and how is he going to make this pass? Through the tunnel turns, pretty much one groove. He's going to lose a little time to him here. But let's watch in turn 3. I saw Denny Hamlin now trying that bottom groove to get that clean air. Nope, he's going to run right in his tire tracks, use that traction compound. This is going to hurt him on the exit. You heard him have to get out of the throttle a slight bit as he got tight.
And here they come to the white flag. 1 lap to go. Hamlin looking for Pocono win number 6. Harvick looking to win here for the first time ever.
See Denny running a little bit lower line. Not really closing that gap enough. The only thing I see happening here, Mike, is Harvick's going to have to make a mistake in the tunnel turn. I just don't see Kevin Harvick making that mistake in these last couple of corners.
Harvick did break the draft going down Long Pond straightaway. Hamlin unable to gain ground in the short chute for the final time and onto the front straightaway. Kevin Harvick at Pocono finally is a winner.
Good job. Way to see the strategy. What a turnaround. Great job, guys. Awesome. Thank you.
Hamlin second. Now here comes Almirola 15 seconds back for third after leading 61 laps today. Christopher Bell gets a fine 4th place finish for the rookie, and Kyle Busch rounds out the top 5.
Got to thank everybody on our Head for the Mountains Busch Beer Ford Mustang. We weren't where we needed to be to start the race, lost a bunch of track position, and came back, made some great strategy calls, and were able to get out front and make some good laps. But yeah, that's great to finally check Pocono off the list. Everybody at Stewart-Haas Racing has done such a great job with all of our cars every time we've come here over the last 7 years. So it's great to, I guess we just need special paint schemes to get to victory lane.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.